What is Fragile X?
Fragile X is an inherited condition. It causes intellectual disability and autism. It's basically caused because of a mutation on the gene, which is located on the X chromosome. So, to put it in simple words, Fragile X is a leading cause of inherited intellectual disability and autism amongst children.
What is the relation between Fragile X, autism?
Around 4 to 5% of children who have autism actually have Fragile X as the underlying cause of their autism.
In 2010, we saw an article written by, Shalini had published an article on Fragile X. And my husband and I looked at that article and said, oh my God, this is ticking so many boxes for Varun. We called her up and we said, we want to do a test. And she said, are you very sure? Because, he doesn't, initially he didn't show a lot of those things because cognitively he was doing well. But we said, irrespective, we'll just get a test done. Because I think my husband and I were like, he had huge anxiety issues. And that was something which, kept bothering us. Why is he so anxious? Getting the test done, I think, was a huge relief for us because it got us to know why Varun is doing what he's doing.
So, welcome you both to the Dolly Show today. I'm so honored to have you both. So, this is what makes the Dolly Show unique. We have our professional who is Ms. Shalini with us, and we have our parent who is Veena. And we're going to have a lovely conversation and a very different topic that we're going to discuss today. So, yes, ma'am, to start with you first. So, today the topic that we're going to discuss first and foremost is what is Fragile X?
Firstly, I'd like to thank you for having us here today and being part of your show. Fragile X is an inherited condition. It causes intellectual disability and autism. It's basically caused because of a mutation on the gene, which is located on the X chromosome. So, to put it in simple words, Fragile X is a leading cause of inherited intellectual disability and autism amongst children.
So, what is the relation for the audience and as well me to understand? What is the relation between Fragile X, autism? How is
Around 4 to 5% of children who have autism actually have Fragile X as the underlying cause of their autism. So you can say Fragile X is the cause and autism is the symptom. That's for around 4 to 5% of the autism population. But when you look at it the other way, around 40% of children who have Fragile X syndrome will also have autism.
wow, interesting.
So there is a huge overlap between the symptoms of autism and Fragile X. And that's what makes it very common and commonly misunderstood and misdiagnosed. But having said that, just a simple blood test can make things clear.
Fab. We will come back with a lot of questions to you. So, yes, over to our lovely parent, Veena ma'am. Ma'am, I would really love to know your journey.
Well, our journey started, I have a young adult now who's 24. His name is Varun. Varun started talking late, or that is what got my antennas on, because he didn't speak as much as a 2-year-old would speak. And that's when I took him to a speech therapist. I have been a special educator much before Varun. So I think that also got me thinking that, he's not doing the regular things that maybe a regular kid with 2 years would do. So taking him to a speech therapist, she just explained to me, I can do certain things in a certain way. And that I did for a year, and he was progressing. But somewhere I just felt he wasn't still doing what I thought he should be doing. And that's how we started our therapies with Varun when he was young. And he did speech therapy, did some amount of occupational therapy. And at some point, he also showed a lot of features of autism. So, and that got us again going to one of the developmental pediatricians who told us, let's just first check him for ADHD, which is hyperactive disorder. And still we were at a loss because nothing came out. At that point, no one told us to check for Fragile X. Because Varun, from his IQ point of view, he was showing, he was learning well. But I think in 2010, we've been searching, we've been to many doctors and many of these things. But in 2010, we saw an article written by, Shalini had published an article on Fragile X. And my husband and I looked at that article and said, oh my God, this is ticking so many boxes for Varun. And said, we called her up and we said, we want to do a test. And she said, are you very sure? Because, he doesn't, initially he didn't show a lot of those things because cognitively he was doing well. But we said, irrespective, we'll just get a test done. Because I think my husband and I were like, he had huge anxiety issues. And that was something which, kept bothering us. Why is he so anxious as a kid? And getting the test done, I think, was a huge relief for us because it got us to know why Varun is doing what he's doing. And though I remember Shalini being skeptical, I hope you all are okay. And I think for me, basically, it never mattered much because I had started him on therapies. But I think for my husband, it was a closure kind of thing because he realized, okay, these are the things that is bothering Varun. And this is why he's doing what he's doing. So our journey started with that, though we had already started therapies and he was in a regular school. But I think with the diagnosis, what helped us, Shalini connected us to the doctors abroad who kind of gave us, thoughts on what we could do with medication. Because the therapy part, Varun was already doing. So the medications actually helped us because my husband is the person who's into more on the medications and I'm into more on the therapies and things like that. And we were very open to trying out new medications. And I think we were one of the few parents who even tried a lot of target treatments and which really benefited Varun. And he's come a long way. Today, Varun is doing a lot of things. He blogs, he's a baker, he's a coder, he's a photographer, and he's an artist, of course. So I think we've come a long way, but all this has happened because of a combination of therapies, medications, and people, and the right kind of people whom we have met. And I think that has also helped a lot.
So these three elements that you spoke about, we would love in the later conversation for you to delve deep into that, ma'am. Before that, I would really love to know from you, you being a special educator. So, see, we get a lot of parents who are absolutely unaware. When the autism hits them, they're absolutely like blank. So for you, how different was it? Because you already were dealing with these kind of children. So I just wanted to know the difference. How was it?
I don't know. People say, oh, you were a special educator, so it helped. I sometimes feel special education is nothing but also common sense. It's like being a good teacher. And I think every parent is a teacher to their child. Irrespective of being a special educator. Varun doesn't look at me as a special educator. He still thinks I'm an idiotic mom sometimes and how pain I am. That is typically what children think of their parents, that she's always nagging me or she's doing that. But I think what helped as a special educator was that I went at the right time. I thought, I think I should take him. And I think parents are the best judge of their children. And I think parents should just take it on themselves. And if they feel that there is this thing, there's no harm in going.
Correct.
Because starting early always helps.
which is a very important point that parents should note. Yes, ma'am, coming over to you. A lot of questions which are, crossing my mind, but let me just pop another one for you. So, still, I am again, on that same frame where Fragile X. How does a parent differentiate? And is it like the therapies and treatments are different for a child who has Fragile X and autism? Or is it just similar to what a child on the spectrum takes therapies or medications or whatever be the line of treatment or therapy?
So it is similar, but there is a difference.
Okay.
And the similar part is easy. Because if your child is not speaking, you need to do speech therapy, and that speech therapy is going to be similar for both the children. But knowing that the child has Fragile X syndrome, you understand a few traits and inherent conditions and preconditions in the child, which when you apply during therapy, you're going to get better results. For example, if you know this child has Fragile X syndrome, it's understood that the child has very high levels of anxiety. Okay, so these are inherent conditions, and there are tips and techniques. We know a child with Fragile X is a visual learner, will do better with structure. Don't force them for direct eye contact. Tips like try side talking. They're amazing imitators. Now, when you use these techniques, not only in therapy, but even in your day-to-day living with your child, you're going to see a huge difference in terms of compliance, growth, and overall development of the child.
Okay. And also, which you said that what differentiates Fragile X? So, what are those signs and symptoms that a parent needs to know that yes, my child has autism but has Fragile X too? So, what are those distinguished symptoms that the parent?
So it's very clear. Children with Fragile X syndrome will display some typical physical features, which children with autism don't display. A child with Fragile X syndrome will typically have a long face, large ears, broad forehead, a prominent chin, hyperflexible joints, very sensitive to sensory stimuli. They are social. Now, which is a huge opposite to autism.
Yeah.
So, I have experiences of doctors who is seeing a 2-year-old child who's come with an autism diagnosis, but because that child started playing with a stethoscope and tried to get friendly with the doctor clicked and said, wait, I want to test him for Fragile X. And it came out positive. So something as simple as if you see a child with autism who has a little long face and is trying to be social, red flag, test for Fragile X. Or I'll give you another example.
Yeah.
Like she said, when she called me, I was very hesitant to have her son tested because it was 2010 and they were living in Mumbai, been to the best doctors. In my mind, I'm like, this is a hyper set of parents. Faltu ka test karna hai, and just to talo her husband, I said, just tell your wife to call me. I will ask her questions because she spends more time with the child. When she called the next day and I said, did you have problems with fertility? She said, yeah, I did not conceive for 9 years. That is a red flag. So if a woman has had problems with fertility and then comes to you with a child with autism, it's a huge red flag to test for Fragile X. It's only because of her telling me that she did not conceive for 9 years that I agreed to get the test done. Because that's a huge red flag. So these red flags are very often missed by parents and professionals because there is less information about it.
Correct. I think till date,
absolutely.
Yeah.
not many know about this.
Absolutely.
Yes.
And that's the status worldwide,
Yeah.
not only in India, worldwide.
When this hit me first, even it was a new term for me. So that's why the questions popping up. So yes, ma'am, coming over to you. What are the line of therapies? What are the line of treatments that helped your child being on the spectrum and Fragile X?
I think it was the basic kind of treatments because I got his diagnosis only when he was 10.
Okay.
So till then, I think we've been doing the regular therapies of speech and occupational therapy. And yeah, I think it was those kind of things. And I think, and of course, we were doing special ed, but I used to do more of the special ed with him. But after a point, we were like, I want to do something different with him. So we did therapy, pet therapy we tried, and then we did art-based therapy. And, I think we were also parents who realized that, just drilling him with doing academics is not going to get us anywhere. And so we actually veered a very different path. And I think that overall has really benefited Varun. And that is something which I keep drilling into parents, but I think it has to come from them. These things can't be taught. And parents need to realize what are their priorities in life for their child. And unless it comes from the parents, we all like to go through the herd mentality.
मेरा बेटा engineer ही बनेगा.
Or
Types.
whatever. Yeah, I think they just feel that if he passes so and so things, that means
Is
he's
only when.
Yeah. So I think what Varun is today is also because we chose the untreaded path or whatever you want to call
Whatever
it.
he was good at.
And so we
rather.
focused on what he was good
Yes.
at rather than
The
and-
abilities.
and what that helps is because your anxieties come down
Correct.
and you're doing what you love doing. So I think that helped a lot.
I think that should be for every human. Forget the neurotypicals and neurodiverse. It should be for every human. They should be, the ones to choose their paths, what they love, and is how they can prosper. Yes. So, coming over next, what are the challenges that you have faced in your path?
So it's very challenging to try explaining to professionals, parents, everyone that there is something called Fragile X because it's a relatively new diagnosis. The gene responsible for this condition was only discovered in the year 1991.
Oh.
Which is recent in terms of medical science, etc. So it is a new condition that everyone is dealing with, and you're seeing a lot of it, and it is a rare disease. Fragile X comes under the definition of a rare disease. So you're not seeing 5 children with Fragile X every day. So explaining the importance of understanding and correctly diagnosing a family with Fragile X syndrome, and that the impact spreads far beyond the child himself. Because the family will want to have a second child. Understanding that it's an inherited condition versus just knowing that it's autism and you go and have a second child and a third child has given me the experience of meeting families with 4 children having Fragile X syndrome. Because none were picked up till the 4th child showed distinct features of something being grossly wrong beyond autism. And then when they tested the rest of the children, they realized. So that could have been a different situation if the family had the right diagnosis on day one. When we take a step further, again, I keep repeating, it's an inherited condition, a silently inherited condition. You need to also understand with every one child who is diagnosed, you need to ideally test the parents, the siblings of the parents, the cousins of the child, and maybe 4 or 5 more people to rule out that none of them have also silently inherited it.
I'm getting the.
Because we have seen 3 sisters, and all 3 sisters are carriers, and they have one child who's affected.
Oh.
And that situation could have again been different when the first child was diagnosed correctly and the family received genetic counseling and there was enough awareness to, warn the other sisters. They could have had a different situation.
So, as far as I have understood it correctly, this can be diagnosed early before pregnancy. The blood tests can be done, and these things can be diagnosed and can be prevented.
It can be diagnosed the minute you know that this female has a sister. Hypothetically, if a girl is 20 and she has an older sister who's 26 who has a child with Fragile X, this girl who's 20 should be tested for Fragile X to know if she's a carrier. And that can be done anytime. You don't have to even wait for her to get married or plan to have children, etc., etc. In fact, knowing her status will help her make informed medical decisions about her future.
Correct. Which is so important because you if you're aware of the situation, it's when you can control it. Else, we have seen what you have told us. Oh my God, this is an eye-opening moment for me, to be very frank. So yes, it will definitely be an eye-opening moment for all our audience as well. Oh my God, I'm totally at loss of words today. So, ma'am, my next question would be first to you and then to you on the similar lines, ma'am. So, how in this situation do we support the families? What all steps can we take to support a family?
So you mean to say what steps do we as an organization take?
How?
So now you imagine a family who has just got to know that their 2-year-old child has a rare inherited condition without a cure. And they don't know what to do. There's not enough information. Or it's confusing for them because there's too much information. So you don't know what to read, what to filter, how much to sustain. You have questions in your mind. Ki 20 saal baad, will he drive? Will he swim? So explaining to that family, and we'll always tell them, don't stop yourself from asking us any number of questions. Okay, so because no question is a taboo, and we're not judging you. The family will have a lot of questions because they have a 2-year-old baby who's probably not speaking, not even walking. And what are the kind of therapies that are needed? What do they do next? What is expected out of them? What can they expect from their child? Connecting them to another family who is in the same city. So if you have one family from Delhi, we connect them to another family from Delhi who is in a similar situation with the same age bracket of the child, who will help you with resources as to which school, which therapy center, which doctor, and things like that. Also, hypothetically, let's think of a panwala who doesn't know English that well and has come with a diagnosis of Fragile X. Our
Classic
help
example.
is still going to be the same. So I've had an experience where I gave them a book in English and not realizing this was like over a decade ago. And he's like, in Hindi, he said, हाँ मैं पढ़ के आपको अगले महीने पूछूंगा. I was like, 1 महीना क्यों लगेगा? हमको हिंदी नहीं आता, इंग्लिश नहीं आता है, तो मेरा भाई गांव से आएगा, वो पढ़ के सुनाएगा. We immediately got the book translated into Hindi. But today, also think of the background of a panwala wherein every child born is 2 more working hands. 2 more hands bringing income into the family. But here we have the opposite because you're spending your entire month's salary in 1 week of therapy of trying to help the child achieve his basic milestones of speaking and walking. Which you thought, wo to aise hi ho jata hai. Now, these are the kind of families we are dealing with, and our support system is we start where they are.
Wow.
Okay, so we pick you up from where you are. We have a 24/7 helpline.
Wow.
Yes, because if you have a question in your mind, shoot it out. Just shoot it out. No question is allowed, not allowed, stupid, nothing. You have a question, will he ever get married? Please ask. Will he be able to make friends? Can I do this with a child? Is it okay to give dahi? Ask whatever questions you want. We are here to help you to the best of our knowledge and information. Secondly, it's very important for them to know that they're not alone. So we have a WhatsApp community where we have families from India and abroad. There are a lot of foreigner parents who joined the community because they feel they have that connect and the compassion in the Indian community, wherein every milestone is celebrated. Suppose a child says that today at the age of 6, my son said mama for the first time.
Those are the moments.
The entire community is rejoicing with that family.
Wow.
Or if a family puts a question like, I'm tired, my son is 6 and he's still not toilet trained. Everyone is giving their suggestions and different ideas. That is family. That is where you get accurate information.
Genuine.
And
Yeah.
accurate. Whether it's about a medicine, whether it's about anything, therapy. And these things are that keep the family going. They know we have a backup. We know that this is one place where I will only get right information. And the family is always there to help. So these are a few things we have done which have really helped the families.
Fantastic. Listening to this itself was so relaxing. Imagine a parent who knows who has this kind of help will one section or probably one question totally answered and they can rely to will be such a beautiful place to be in. So I can so relate to what you said. Ma'am, I would love to know, you have been a part of this community. What has been your experience? You have lived it. So what has been your experience?
One thing which we can give back is because we have older children, and my son is 24. I think we have very few parents who are in that age bracket. And so it really helps when, we give some advice to parents and try telling them at, a child who's age 2 or age 3. And when they ask you, what do you do or what did you do, what helps is, I think, giving our perspective to them. And of course, no two children are the same. There is no doubt about it. But I think what we as parents just tell everybody is, this too shall pass. So there will be a time when your child is going to be able to do a lot more things than what he is not able to do now. And our children are also examples for them.
Yes.
Which also helps them to realize, okay, maybe my child is going to get there.
That hope.
That hope.
Yeah.
That, but you need to work on it. It doesn't just happen as a miracle. And I think as parents, what we need to tell other parents is that go one step at a time. Go prioritize what is required. Because you want to do this, you want to do this, you want to do everything just doesn't happen together. And what one child can do faster cannot be possible by another child. And each child comes with his set of strengths and weakness. So I think you have to take what is priority for your child first and then work on it. And I think that works well only if you are very clear of what you want for your child.
Excellent. Next question would be, how does advocacy play a role in this situation?
So, advocacy is the biggest role here because you need to spread awareness.
Yes.
And my personal goal for Fragile X as a cause is that you need to spread awareness amongst professionals, doctors, lay people, a young girl who is, unaware of anything, because Fragile X has that many aspects to it. It has that many facets to it. Fragile X can impact a woman from getting pregnant. It can impact the growth of your child. It can impact, a girl. It's Fragile X also affects girls. Mostly people think it's only in boys, but it's also there in girls. So, and when we're very lucky that we have advocates like Boman Irani sir and many to the likes of these celebrities. Why will anyone want to listen to what I have to say? But when his voice is out there, people listen. And that's what we need. We need people to listen because you're trying to create, it's more like a public awareness message wherein they need to know, okay, are you experiencing infertility? Ask your doctor about Fragile X. Even if your doctor does not bring it up, you bring it up. You don't have to always wait for your doctor to bring it up. If your child has autism, ask your doctor about Fragile X. Here again, don't wait for the doctor to recommend it. It's okay. They'll say Google se padh ke aaye, whatever. Who cares? The point is you receiving help. And nothing can happen without advocacy. Because advocacy brings awareness brings acceptance. It's like a whole, snowball, and it boils down to awareness.
Your views on this, ma'am?
I think awareness is, as Shalini rightly said, it is the key, because that is where you start. Because if you're not aware, it's impossible telling, a layman, and you can't blame them either. Sometimes we're always blaming people that they're not even being, empathetic to our children because they haven't experienced it, right? And so awareness will help people in saying, okay, so this is the reason why this person is doing what he's doing. And that awareness will bring about a change, because he will see someone in his community who's behaving like this. And then he realizes, okay, this person had mentioned about, Fragile X. So maybe, I should go and tell this parent. So I think awareness comes in through public, through, the layman who first tries to understand what is the problem, and then he spreads the word. And of course, celebrities help, because we live in a land where people like to hear what celebrities say. I think at a point when parents get closer is when other parents realize, okay, this parent makes sense. And I think I should listen to a parent because she's gone through this or he's gone through this.
I have this question. We talk about advocacy. We do, I just recently got a call from a parent saying that, this is the child is on the spectrum. She's having a tough time, making a society, forget the society as a whole, her own local society, to understand her child, that the child is on the spectrum. We talk about advocacy, but don't we think that it should start from her in-laws as well are not at a denial mode? The child goes down, the child is not accepted by the other children. Forget the children, we can't blame them, the parents themselves. Then to top it, the school, then it goes on. How do you think, just a question, how do you think, where can we start?
Advocacy brings inclusion. Okay. Start from home. It's not that the parents, the grandparents at home, or your building people, or anyone don't want to help. The problem is they don't know how to help.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's nobody's mistake.
Correct.
For example, I have a lot of these sessions where I'm actually teaching them how to communicate with a child with special needs or a shy person. Hypothetically, you're in the elevator and you're with a child who has autism or Fragile X or any condition, and you're like, hey, what's up, dude? Do you know, is that child verbal or non-verbal? What if the child is non-verbal? You've just thrown him 10 steps behind.
Correct.
So when I'm teaching them this, I say, just give a high five. Okay? Or, I like your t-shirt, dude. Give a compliment and leave it there. Don't ask a question. Okay? So if we start teaching the family this, the family, the grandmother probably wants to, love the child, ask questions, cook some tasty food which is not sensory appealing to the child, buy a t-shirt which is like, poking him. It's going the wrong way. And that's actually what also happens with society, because people are trying to play with the child.
Yeah.
So if you have a small meeting with like-minded mothers, start with 3 mothers and tell the moms, okay, a good way to get started is next time you see the child in the elevator, just give a compliment. I like your haircut. Just do that. That's inclusion. You've included the child into the 3-minute ride of the elevator. Okay, don't ask a question because that child might not be verbal, might not have the right skills to put the answer in place and give it to you, might be shy, might not want to make eye contact. But if you've just given a compliment, the child has registered it. Next time you meet him in the elevator, again give a compliment. Don't give a question. Don't ask a question. A statement. It's too hot today. Just any form of communication.
Which doesn't need a further.
Exactly. When the child is comfortable, if you get to know the child is verbal, there'll be a day when the child will do a high five. There'll be a day when you next have a party, invite the child. Child doesn't want to come, perfect. You've done your job of inclusion. So it starts again going back to awareness. And this is something where advocacy by families themselves plays a huge role. Because I don't expect everyone to come and see my lecture on how to communicate with children with special needs. So I tell the families, educate your family and your extended family on the likes and dislikes. Instead of saying that, what do you feel like eating for dinner today? Just break it down to, I'm eating pizza, do you want one? Okay, so the answer is just a yes or no. It can just be a nod. But if you asked an open-ended one, like, what do you feel like eating today?
So then
That's
there's
a
wide
lot.
range of.
Exactly. So simple steps like this, and it can be for any condition, not only autism or Fragile X or anything, or even if you come across a shy child and you just give a compliment, I like the bow in your hair. Just leave it there.
Fabulous. My answer is what I've got. Thank you so much for this. So next we come up to a very interesting question, first being you and then to you, ma'am. Your journey. Why did you take up this journey?
Wow, that's a $1 million question. Today, I can say this with a lot of pride that if you Google Fragile X, you will have pages of information and help from India. Your doctor will also probably give you Fragile X Society's contact, etc., etc. 25 years ago, my son, who was India's first child to be diagnosed with a rare condition without a cure. So we were equipped in India to make a diagnosis because I was sitting with an 18-month-old baby who couldn't stand independently, going doctor to doctor, having a few misdiagnoses, swelling in the head, water in the head, TB meningitis and everything. And then one doctor says, I think it's Fragile X, but you first focus on therapies because we need to work on achieving milestones. And when we got the blood test done, it confirmed Fragile X. And there was no support group. There was no family I could meet. It was a huge, huge taboo. I did not talk about it to my family, my parents, my friends, nobody except my husband and me, because it was a very, very, very big taboo. It was like earth shattered, thrown into the sea without a lifeboat. What am I supposed to do? And I took the guts and the courage, and I went online and I connected with the National Fragile X Foundation in San Francisco, and I wrote to them. I said, this is my situation. And they said, okay, give us your address and we'll send you books. And they sent me books, and I educated myself, and I would educate the therapist on how to help my child, and we achieved milestones. And when he was 6, I took him to Dr. Randy Hageman, who's a pioneer for Fragile X in San Francisco. And on my last day there, she said, Shalini, I want to ask you for something. And she said, will you start an organization in India? And I said, no. I have a lot to deal with. And my husband said, yes, we will. This is the reason we have our child in our life, because he wants us to give back to society in this way. And I came back very overwhelmed, very heavy. I was nervous. I was like, what am I going to help anyone? I mean, like, I don't want to even invest that much time on others. I would rather do things for myself and my family, my son. But when the first phone call came from a doctor saying, Shalini, I've diagnosed 2 children of this mother today. Can you please meet with her? And when we spoke on the phone, she said, can you come home, but don't bring your child. And I went. I spent 2 hours with her, and I realized that I was just speaking and sharing out of experience. And I came home not knowing whether it had any impact. Later I realized I had made a huge shift in her life.
Wow.
In her perception. I'd given her strength. She saw things from a wider perspective, having 2 children on the condition, and both differently impacted. And as this grew, and till today we've helped 12,500 families, it took me time. I'll be honest, it took me 4 years to accept my son's diagnosis. Today, when families get connected, I tell them, take your time. It's important to grieve
Yes.
the death of your perfect baby that you dreamt of for 9 months. But I'm waiting for you on this side. And we have a whole family here who's going to take your hand and take you through. And that gives them a lot of strength. And today, in hindsight, I look at it as the divine mission of my life.
Yeah, you are doing that. Both of you, for that matter.
I mean, I didn't think I was carved out for this. I was like this little spoiled South Bombay girl, got married, wanted to be a businesswoman, etc., etc. But I think giving in to the divine plan has today really made me realize the impact I've had. When a family today has 1 child with Fragile X, and because they came across us and got the right help, has a 2nd child without the condition. And the first call they'll make is to us. And the father will say, Didi, meko dusra bachcha ho gaya. You can't describe it in words. You can't. So, that's been my personal journey. And I don't want anyone ever to feel that they don't have the help and support. So it's a lot about me giving what I didn't get, because I know how it broke me and it took me longer. But today I think I'm very happy for having my son. He is 27 and happy, confident, street smart child. And that's the biggest gift I could give him in return.
you have given him a gift as well as you're gifting the society as well. So it's a big kudos to you that you're doing so much. Thanks to you and to you as well, ma'am. You're doing a fabulous job, believe me. Giving this ray of hope makes people's lives change. Who better knows than you two? Let's get on a lighter note. It got a little overwhelming. Let's just talk about the achievements of now. I was going to ask this question to ma'am, so now I have two achievements that we have to discuss. So let's discuss the achievements rather than discussing, yeah, we have had our part of journeys and, things like that. But we need to talk about their achievements as well. So first, over to you, ma'am.
So before we start,
Yes.
I must tell you, both our sons have the same name.
Oh,
Yes.
what a coincidence.
So you're going to ask us about achievements of Varuns.
Varun,
Varun Kedia and Varun
Varun
Naveen.
Square.
Yes, Varun Square.
V square.
Oh, wow. We Square.
Yeah.
So, yes, ma'am. Over to you.
Well, what do I say about Varun?
You have to say.
Varun is a very smart, witty young adult, and I think I've become a better person because of Varun. He's taught me that just enjoy life, and I think our young adults come with this in them that they have no malice towards anyone. They have no kind of competition with anyone. My son feels as happy when his other friends are doing as well as he's doing, or if they're doing better. And I think that makes me a better parent, because I think we as parents are only stuck up with isse better karna hai ki nahi. And I think Varun has taught me that. He's a baker, he's a coder, he's a photographer. He's an artist first of all, because I think that is what got us starting to think about what he could do well. And he used to even doodle as a kid. So I think just helping him through that path where we encouraged him to work towards the arts. So he did go to a regular school till the 4th grade. And then we moved him to a special school. So he went to 2 different special schools. But at every point, I think we were just pushed to making him do more and more academics and the mainstream academics. And we realized, I think we just need to make him equipped with knowledge enough to search what he wants.
Yeah, life skills that will help
Life
him.
skills which would help him. So he does his own Google searching, or he's very computer savvy.
Fab.
And he's into coding right now. And he's just doing what he loves. And as of now, he's getting a lot of corporate doodling sessions.
Fabulous.
So he's done more than about 20, 25 of them through Atypical Advantage, which is a platform for people with disabilities giving employment. So he gets paid for each of his sessions. So he does online and offline. And he's always wanted to teach. And I think he just does it with so much passion. And he has created his own self-advocacy, this thing where he talks about the things that you should make him, so when we had a Nestle workshop, which he did, that's where he said, like, give me a high five. So all of them, went to him and said, Varun, can we have a high five, kind of things. And I think that's where the awareness helps, because you're also trying to tell people, this is what makes me comfortable. So let me do what I'm comfortable doing. So even when he's going for any of the event, whether online, offline, he's got a great sense of humor, which is again a very, very classic Fragile X thing. A lot of children with Fragile X are very good, very, very witty. And they just know to, So that's a plus actually.
Absolutely.
It is. So, even as a kid, he used to make people laugh. And I keep telling him he should become a stand-up comedian.
Wow.
Because they have it in them. Yeah. And since they're very good imitators, I think it really helps. Varun is a very American kid in that way, because he just likes everything English. He loves Disney. He loves Golden Globes. So yesterday he already had logged in to see who were the nominations for the Golden Globes. and then Oscars. So he's tuned that way. So sometimes we do have a problem because when there is a communication involved, there aren't people who know all these things.
Exactly.
So then, as you said, he is sociable, but not to the extent that he doesn't want too much of. He wants everybody to do all that he does. So he has every first month, every first Friday of the month, he shows all his friends either a movie or documentaries, and that is something which he has taken up on his own. And he's got a few audience who are very happy seeing it, and if he misses it, they in fact call him up and say, "I have to show it."
Oh wow.
So yeah, so I think what is good is our children want everyone to also enjoy what they enjoy, and I think that's a big plus with the kids with Fragile X, because they want to love and they want to be loved, and also just spread whatever they are doing. And I think her Varun is equally all that, and I think they just spread love.
Fabulous. I think they're just pure souls.
They're just pure.
In fact, teaching us how to be humans.
True.
Better.
To be
Yeah.
better. Yeah.
Yeah. Over to you. Varun.
Varun Kedia, yeah. So Varun is very different from Varun in terms of whether it comes to computers or TV or anything. He's not at all into it. He doesn't like watching television at all. And no, I can't yet think of him into coding and stuff. But he's working at the same school where he graduated from.
Fabulous.
He's got amazing management skills and responsibility to the point of T. He will not leave school if he thinks the job is not over yet. I'll get a call saying he's coming late. And compassionate and one-liners can kill you.
Oh.
Yeah, so this is again, it's typically and very inherent. So like I said, actually at Fragile X India, we've made a quick guide where we give families a quick guide, just right, they're visual learners, they have an amazing sense of humor, they like imitating, etc. And it helps the family understand that child, which is so important. So us today knowing what Varun likes, and Varun is very compassionate. Whether it's to people, like he'll take care of my medication. He'll ask me, "Mom, did you have your medicine?" If I'm taking a flight back, he'll call like, "What time can I send the chauffeur to the airport?" And he'll get my dinner kept for me and stuff like that. And very, very pure. Absolutely, these children can't have a mean bone in them because they don't understand meanness.
Yeah.
They don't have it in them, right? And for them, they want everyone to benefit. Like she said, there's no competition. And it's actually a joy. It's for us as parents, it's a joy. Like, imagine which 27-year-old is going to care whether you've had dinner.
Oh.
True.
I don't see that amongst any of my friends or
No.
family. They will
No.
be like, "Oh, I'm worried about my 27-year-old. He's taken a new car today and
Yeah.
he wanted more money and he wanted this, he wanted that."
The
They have
iPhones.
other ironies. And okay, no, my son is very fond of phones. He's got the latest iPhone, I don't. But he just watches YouTube videos. But the point is, for him, it's like, okay, he doesn't have friends because it's not easy for them to maintain a friendship.
Yeah.
But he plays games with the staff at home. He'll play board games, carom, he'll go for a drive, and he does things. But they're so caring that he will not leave till he knows you've had your medicine.
Or you are in
Or
your comfort.
You're in your comfort
Yes.
zone. Even I have a dog, and even if my dog has not had food, he will be like, "Why isn't she eating? And come, please finish eating your food. See, Bhaiya's eating." He'll try to use the same skills. He'll try to teach her to imitate him. So he's like, "See, Bhaiya's eating, you also eat," and stuff like that. And it's complete joy. I
Joy,
think
yeah.
today I can say this. I wouldn't have said this 20 years ago or 25 years ago, but today I would say I would not exchange him for anything in the world, because raising him and being with him is joy.
Wow. And this session was a pure and joy and purity. Believe me. I mean, we have spoken our hearts out today. I am so, so, so thankful to both of you for giving us these amazing, amazing, amazing insights. Thanks. Thanks a
Thank you
million.
so much.
And thank you for doing so much for the society. Keep continuing and keep putting in more of your efforts.
Absolutely.
Thanks a ton. Thank you.
Our
Thank
boys
you.
bring the best nas.
Yes.